What's going on, Laura?
Oh my God, I'm actually so pumped. I just came back from New Zealand a few days ago, and I feel like I'm now very much in like us EP, us tour world, and I'm very happy about it. I'm so excited.
That's actually really funny. I just got back from Australia.
When?
We were like right next to each other.
When were you there and when did you come back?
I just got back Saturday morning.
I got back Sunday.
We were basically right next to each other. We had no idea.
Okay, real talk though, how are you with jet lag right now?
I feel like death. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still trying to like figure it out.
I was literally, it's quite an early call time for this, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not a 6 a.m. LA time is 11, God, what is it? No, it's 1 a.m. New
It's
Zealand
crazy.
time.
It's like the time difference and the time zones make no sense. And it's really trippy when you're actually going into them because you're like, I'm a time traveler now.
We traveled back in time Saturday and Sunday. Very cool, no big deal.
So crazy. I hope you had a great time though.
It was so good. It was quite intense. I was filming something. Um,
Ooh, what were you filming?
I was filming a new Netflix movie.
Okay.
I can't talk too much about it, but I can say it's an interactive rom-com. So
Yes, I have seen.
it's a choose your own adventure romantic comedy. So
That is
that
so
meant we
cool.
had to film every option.
Possibility. That sounds like a lot. Like how are you kind of like managing that? Because I feel like that's putting yourself into multiple different, not roles necessarily, but so many different moods, I guess.
It was very challenging to figure out how to play this character because I was like, oh my God, I determine how to play my characters based on the choices they make. So
Yeah.
making different choices, it's really hard, but I'm so excited for people to see it. I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. And it's funny because I would come home, I've never worked, nah, that's a lie, but I worked some of the hardest I've ever worked because I would come back home from filming all day and then I would like go into tour rehearsal.
Yeah.
By myself on my keyboard. I like rented a keyboard, had my mic. So I am so excited for this tour. Like tour rehearsals with the official band start next week, but
This is your first headlining tour.
headlining tour and I'm going to Nashville.
I know, on the 15th, right? I'm so excited. The
Yes,
End
yes.
is such a cool venue. Like, you're going to love it.
I'm so excited. I'm very, very
So, since this is your first headlining tour, how does that feel? It's got to be like so many emotions right now, like
excited.
whirlwind.
Well, so many emotions, excitement, anxious, nervous, happy, all the things. But also it's like my first time performing in a long time with people. I
Right.
performed during the pandemic, like a lot of artists did on a screen, and I was thankful for that. And I'm very ready to actually be in person with people and connect with them and hold their hands while I'm on stage and, maybe have them sing the lyrics back to me. So I am so ready for it. I think I'm definitely nervous in terms of this is the longest like amount of shows I've ever done. It's my first tour. I'm doing 22 cities, 22 shows. So I'm just like anxious on that front of like, oh God, of just keeping the energy.
You're going to kill it. You're going to kill it. Don't be
Thank you
nervous.
so much. I needed to hear that, Ricki. I'm like, okay, I'm very
Don't be
excited.
nervous.
You know?
It totally makes sense that you would be because I would be freaking out if I were you. But I know that you got this. You're going to kill it. Don't worry about it at all.
Thank you. Thank you. I need to hear that.
So speaking of all of these shows, I have to ask for your international fans, like, can we expect maybe some international tour dates?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it just gets a little complicated right now because like my booking agent only does domestic national stuff, so it's just
Okay.
about, I obviously as an individual don't have the contacts to be like,
Right.
hey, promoter in Latin America, give me a venue. But that is so on top of my list. South America, Latin America, and then UK and Europe. Also really wanting to go to Asia as well. That might take a little bit more time, but right now,
Amazing.
Latin America and UK/Europe.
Your fans are going to freak out.
I'm ready to see them in person as well and give them hugs and just be with them.
I can only imagine, because like I love being in person with people, and like I love connecting with people. Like that's really what we do as radio hosts, is connect with people. So it's so amazing once everything, you know, started to open up again and people recognize you and you get to like actually talk to them. And it's just, I totally get what you're saying, because it's an amazing feeling.
It's funny because I did this virtual concert series last year on Zoom with like 15 fans, and then more fans could watch. But that was kind of cool because at least I could like, even though they muted themselves, I could see their reactions and like connection. So I definitely prefer that over when I would just perform to a screen and like no one would be there and I'd see comments, which is lovely. But like, besides that, like seeing
not the same,
but being in person and having their energy, I think is so powerful, and I'm so ready for it. I'm so excited.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the EP. Yes. This is the end of a trilogy. Like, how did you come up with this conclusion EP? Like, take me on your journey to this point.
So it's 2018. No. But essentially, right, I was just on a label. It was my second label I was in within 2 years, and I hadn't released any music off of this album. I don't release 2 songs off the label before. And I was like writing so much music that I really loved and connected with. Had just gone through a breakup, but I was also falling in love again. A lot of the music was inspired by that. And so the first really important part of this journey was my decision to become independent. I was like, screw this. I don't want to be with another label right now. I just want to release the music that I have and I love and have that creative control. So I started releasing music off the Me EP. Me originally was named after a song I had called Me. And then as I was working on it, I only could have so many songs in this EP, and I had a bunch of other songs that I loved and connected with, and they weren't on it. And so it kind of hit me of being like, oh, it would be awesome to do a sequel to this. And then I was like, forget a sequel. I should do a trilogy. I should do the Me EP, the You EP, and then an Us EP, right? So I released the Me EP in 2019, start working on the You EP, which again is a lot of music that I wrote, you know, while writing the Me EP and even before that when I was at a label, with the exception of a song that I wrote a couple months before releasing the EP, which was a song I wrote by myself, and it was the first song ever that I released that I wrote entirely by myself, which was nerve-wracking. But I had that song. That song again was very much a love song, and so the plan was then to release Us EP, having this be this trilogy of the themes I've been talking about for Me and You and yada, yada, yada. Then I go through a breakup. And so all of a sudden, some of the music that I was planning on putting on this EP and the story that I thought I was telling ended in a different way. And I was really inspired creatively, was writing more than I ever have. And so this EP is quite singular in its way in comparison with the other two, because this is the most recent music that I've written and worked on. All of these songs, with the exception of one, I wrote in the last few months. So that's interesting because the other two were very much about a certain time of life. And in a weird way, even though this is about the same person that a lot of the music before was about as well, it's in a different way, right? They're sad songs, they're breakup songs. They're definitely more emotional than some of the others. And so I also thought it was really interesting that you have this story for yourself and life just doesn't end the way or go the way you think it's going to go. I really believe in all our powers to write our own story. However, I also think at the end of the day, sometimes we don't have control over other things, and you kind of have to adapt and figure life out when that happens.
Right. It seems like one of the ways you adapted too is that you did something cool on this EP. The last song is a preview.
I'm so glad.
Of a single.
Ricki, I've been waiting for someone to ask me about this because I very much was like, oh, do I spill it? Do I not spill it? So yes, the last song
is so cool. Nobody does that.
I know. I'm so excited for fans to just be mad because they're like, we want more of the song. But yeah, I've written the most music I've ever written in a really long time. And there was no way all of these songs were going to end up on this EP. So my thought process is, these EPs were kind of the first steps for me as an artist of having a collective, cohesive piece of work. And I think I'm officially ready for a debut album. So a lot of this music
that is so exciting.
Out soon, including the song that's a preview this time last year. So I'm very excited.
That is amazing. I know we have to wrap up, but I have one last thing I have to say to you because I asked fans, like, if they could ask you any question, what would it be? And I got a tweet from John Paul Green.
Yeah.
And he said he wants to know where his keys are.
So he is literally one of the funniest people alive. I haven't seen him in years. I'm still really upset about it because he and his wife had a beautiful baby, and I've only seen pictures online. He was on Austin Alley.
Yes.
He is one of the funniest people of all time. And I saw that tweet and I liked it. I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
I was like, is there like a background to this, or is it just like he's just... I love that.
And that's what makes it that much better. It's fantastic.
Okay, so SCP comes out July 8th. You'll be at the end July 15th. So excited. Can't wait for everything that you're going to be doing and for your debut album.
Thank you, Ricki. You've been so lovely. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.